David Chipman's nomination to run the ATF has been withdrawn. Welcome to another installment of the Connecticut Gun Bench. Today's video is brought to you by P.A.N. Firearms, LLC. P.A.N. Firearms for your NRA certification and multifaceted gun training. You can contact us at 203-300-6343 or use our website, www.panfirearmsllc.com. As always, there'll be a link in the description box below. But let's talk about this. The White House to withdraw controversial ATF nominee David Chipman. In a Fox News article, the White House has withdrawn the nomination of David Chipman to run the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, ATF, and Firearms, Fox News has confirmed. Chipman, who had a history of caustic comments about gun owners and worked for gun control groups for years after his career as an ATF agent, was staunchly opposed by Republicans, but he struggled to gain the support of several Democrats who never explicitly opposed Chipman's nomination, but also ended up publicly supporting him either. In a win for the Second Amendment and gun owners, the White House rescinds David Chipman's nomination for leadership of the ATF. Chipman's nomination was controversial from the start and is greatly opposed by many Republicans and some Democrats. During the confirmation process, he was heavily challenged by Senate members. Using his own words, he was exposed as clearly being heavily biased for the position. Now, it isn't too hard to see that Chipman's nomination by an anti-gun administration was by design. If the word has meaning, Chipman had a lot to say during his confirmation process.
Congratulations. Do you believe in banning assault weapons?
I do, sir.
Okay. Define assault weapons.
Assault weapons would be something that members of Congress would define.
Well, how do you define it? You're going to be running the agency.
Senator, I think this is a good question. If I am confirmed as ATF director...
I got 35 seconds left. Define it for me, would you please, sir? What's an assault weapon?
Yeah, Senator, the bill to ban assault weapons is
what is your
dozens of
definition
pages.
of an
There's
assault
no way I could define an assault weapon.
You don't have any. You're going to run this agency, and you don't have a definition of assault weapon.
But I would be enforcing the definition that members of Congress
you're going to be
passed.
issuing rules and regulations. Just give me your definition.
I'll give you one definition that ATF
Give me your
currently
definition.
uses. One definition that ATF currently
Give me your definition.
I can give you one definition.
If you won't
that
answer
ATF
my
currently
question, how can I vote for you? I'm done, Mr. Chairman. I don't think I'm going to get an answer.
I want to turn to a second matter now, Mr. Chipman. You have called for an assault weapons ban. I have a simple question for you. What is an assault weapon?
Senator, an assault weapon would be, in the context of the question you asked, what Congress defines it as.
So you're asking us to ban assault weapons. We have to write legislation. Can you tell me what is an assault weapon? How would you define it if you were the head of the ATF? How have you defined it over the last several years as your role as a gun control advocate?
Senator, if I'm confirmed as ATF director, my recollection is the only process by which ATF is weighed in is that I know there's a demand letter 3 program which requires multiple reports, multiple sale reports on the southwestern border. And ATF in that program has defined an assault rifle as any semi-automatic rifle capable of accepting a detachable magazine above the caliber of .22, which would include a .223, which is, largely the AR-15 round.
So you believe that every weapon that takes a detachable magazine that can take a .22 round or 5.56 in military parlance should be defined as an assault weapon?
Let me clarify. What I believe I just said is any semi-automatic rifle.
Okay, any semi-automatic rifle.
What?
That's the definition. A detachable magazine that takes a 5.56 or .22 round should be defined as an assault weapon.
Senator, you asked me if ATF had used this term, and I was sharing with you my knowledge of a program in which ATF has defined this term. And it is in the Demand Letter 3 program, and that rifle is a semi-automatic rifle capable of accepting a detachable magazine with a round greater than a .22 caliber. And in those cases, firearms dealers on the southwest border are required to make a multiple sale report to ATF.
I'm amazed that that might be the definition of assault weapon. That would basically cover every single modern sporting rifle in America today.
And I hope you appreciate why people are very concerned about your stance on the Second Amendment and are very concerned that you would be going after law-abiding gun owners. So let me ask you this. In the House Judiciary Committee hearing on 2019, you said, and I'm quoting you, simply reinstating the 90s-era ban on assault weapons is not enough. So I want you to tell me what is enough in relation to this statement.
Thank you for the question. In that hearing, I was commenting on the fact that I had the opportunity to enforce the National Firearms Act for 24 years. That was an act that balanced the right of individuals to possess those firearms, but had a regulatory structure that I found kept them out of the hands of criminals, which is the ultimate goal of all Americans. I thought, and I expressed that belief at that time, that the National Firearms Act would be a proper way to balance the rights and responsibilities
So the National Firearms Act would be enough?
I believe that the National Firearms Act would be enough.
Let me ask you this, because in the same hearing you continued, and this gets to the question that Senator Kennedy had for you, and I'm quoting you. Instead, we should regulate a broader class of firearms, including assault weapons manufactured before the law's enactment. One option would be to require the registration of all existing assault weapons under the National Firearms Act while banning the future manufacture and sale of these firearms. So in these statements, you're talking about expanding the National Firearms Act, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that would not be enforcing it as it is written. That would be a change of policy. And then you would ban the future manufacture. That would be a change of policy. Banning the sale would be a change of policy. And in these statements, and going back to that hearing, you were referring to common semi-automatic firearms when you speak of assault weapons, correct?
Senator, in this hearing, I was acting as an advocate and was asked to propose solutions to complex problems.
And you were referring to semi-automatic weapons, correct?
Yes, Senator, but...
Yeah.
Chipman was heavily criticized for not disclosing his appearance on a Chinese government-run news organization where he spoke about the incident at Sandy Hook in Connecticut. Many stated that the Chinese government used him to cover up a knife attack at the Chenpeng Village Primary School where 23 people were stabbed, which happened on the same day as the Sandy Hook school shooting.
I'm now joined by David Chipman. He's a special agent at the U.S. Bureau of Firearms and Explosives. David, thank you for joining us. I've asked this question a few times already. What is the answer here?
Well, I think first today we have to reflect that the murder of 20 children is something that is unprecedented. And my 25 years at ATF, and I'm now retired and working for Mayors Against Illegal Guns, I think we need to reflect on this. This isn't something that's happened before. When I was digging through the rubble of Oklahoma City, where 19 children were killed, I thought that I would never see anything like that again. So my heart goes out to the families.
Listen to his contradictory wording. He stated that Sandy Hook, where 20 children lost their lives, was unprecedented. Okay. Unprecedented. Definition of unprecedented. Having no precedent. Novel. Unexampled. But then he turns right around and talks about his experience at the Merriam building bombing in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, where 19 children lost their lives. An event cannot be unprecedented, Sandy Hook, Connecticut, when there's actual precedent for it, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. But because the Merriam building the murders there was committed without a firearm, it just doesn't count for these people. Chipman has a long history of making false statements to support his position. Some of them have been fact-checked by the Washington Post as being false. But what is more disturbing is the fact that Chipman worked for several anti-gun groups. Is that not the definition of conflict of interest? A person who is tagged to lead the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and most importantly, Firearms, who also has a career of working to undermine a constitutional right. But we have, no pun intended, dodged a bullet with the withdrawal of Chipman. But now it comes down to who will be the next nominee and how much of that person's history will come to bear on the nomination process. But let me know what you think. Please leave your comments in the comment section below. As always, comments of violence or calls for violence will be removed. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you get notified the next time a video goes live. See you on the next one. Peace.